So we're actually very excited to have today the country manager of TikTok Israel, Anna Pelkin.
Thank you very much to Tensarona for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to be here. My name is Anna Pelkin. I lead the business activity of TikTok here in Israel, and I really hope this thing will work. And it's not. Okay. Cool. And I have tons of slides, so you'll have to bear with me. So TikTok has been operating in Israel for over 3 years now, and throughout that time, our teams have been supporting thousands of companies, from small startups to large-scale companies, with their growth journey. And I'm incredibly excited to be here today and to share with you some of our key learnings. Now, it's a very diverse audience that we have here today. We have VCs and we have startups, we have marketeers and we have entrepreneurs. I trust that all of you will find this session relevant because I want to talk to you today about your consumers. I want to talk about culture and about business and how they come together, and about how culture can actually drive business forward. Regressia. Okay. What we first need to understand is that the way we, as consumers, consume content has fundamentally changed. We've gone a long way from print through search engines and social media to the current era, the era of content. We're now at the peak of media fragmentation. We've gone from having 2, maybe 3 options to choose from when it comes to information and entertainment, to an ever-evolving list of platforms, opportunities, formats, and on multiple screens. Human attention, our consumers' attention, have become scarce and valuable. And so within that context of media fragmentation and attention scarcity, short-form videos are on the rise. We're now consuming a higher volume of content, a broader diversity, and in less time. And we see this happening across the board, across all platforms and all channels. But TikTok, being the #1, the fastest growing company in history to date, is the one that brought it to mainstream. Now, how broad is this phenomena? So much so that over 50% of millennials and 66% of Gen Zs testify that they would rather give up TV and traditional forms of entertainment and streaming before giving up on TikTok. And these consumption changes, they're affecting other areas of our life. Creative, for example. Creators are the modern-day cultural heroes. With developing technology, many of the production barriers, the cost barriers, have been lifted. And so we see ordinary people that are gaining popularity and are able to influence public agenda. Creation and participation have been democratized. Now let's do an experiment. How many of you, by a show of hands, how many of you identify the guy that is on the slide behind me? Okay, so I'm happy to discover we have a really advanced audience here. His name is Khaby Lame. He's the #1 creator on TikTok today. He has over 160 million followers and billions of views to the content that he is publishing. But what is amazing about his story is that he went from being a factory worker to a global phenomena simply by creating interesting and engaging content. He's now the presenter for Hugo Boss. He signed contracts with Hollywood studios and multiple other brand partnerships, and there is a movie about his life that is about to be released. So this has completely transformed his life. And what about this guy? His name is Keith Lee. Keith Lee is a chef that is using his massive popularity to help people Through his videos, he is helping small restaurants and small business owners to raise funds and to gain more audience. He has already helped numerous of small business owners, and he is completely transforming their lives. Now, Keith and Cubby are not alone. For the first time, we see that the source of influence has flipped. The power no longer sits with the selected few, the elite, the influencers, the celebrities, and the movie stars, but rather our attention is being shifted towards the creators, the ones that are creating authentic content that we, as consumers, want to listen to. Now, this is actually the democratization of content, and this revolution is at the heart of TikTok's platform. What you need to understand about TikTok is that it's an entertainment platform. It's not a social media network. It is not based on your social graph. It's not about seeing cute photos of your family and friends. It is powered by a very powerful AI algorithm, and it serves each and every one of its users relevant content that is tailored personally based on our individual interests. And with over 1 billion of users globally, worldwide, creators that are creating engaging, authentic, and interesting content have the option to reach massive audience, to go viral, and to actually create a change in the day-to-day culture. And we see this more and more. What starts on TikTok doesn't just stay on TikTok. It transcends beyond the boundaries of our platform and actually impacts real life. It impacts what we buy, what type of music do we listen to, what we eat, and even how we learn new things. We see this happening from a perspective of 3 different lenses. It starts with content. It amplifies by the communities that are engaging with this content. And finally, it transcends beyond the boundaries of our platform to influence our day-to-day culture. Let's take books, for example. 2022 was the first year in over a decade in which book sales was on the rise, and it has a direct correlation with TikTok. Why is this happening? BookTok is the home of book enthusiasts on TikTok, where they actually share recommendations with one another. This community gained massive popularity with over 100 billion views to this content alone. And then these guys went out and bought books. And this created a crazy effect. This has launched the careers of new authors. This has sent old books back to the bestsellers list. And physical stores have now dedicated sections in their stores dedicated specifically to books that were recommended on TikTok. Missed a slide, but never mind, we'll improvise. Just to mention that it's not just books. We see this happening across the board. It's happening with e-com, with travel, and with food, but it's also happening in areas that maybe, for some of you, feel a bit less intuitive, like technology, or finance, or cyber. Let's take VC Talk, for example. VC Talk is the home for VCs and startups on TikTok. It's where VCs can identify rising talent and where entrepreneurs can share from their knowledge and experience. Or FinTalk, for example. FinTalk has revolutionized the way Zoomers, but also millennials, are thinking about finance by making it engaging, easy, and accessible for them. So this is maybe interesting to understand from a cultural perspective, but really, why should you care? We talked about the age of content, about attention scarcity. And so within that context, Being culturally relevant is the bridge for winning consumers' hearts. TikTok is so popular because it's immersive and community-driven. 92% of our users say that they have taken some form of action after watching a video on our platform. And 1 in 4 users say that they have researched or actually bought a product after seeing it on our platform. And the good news is that it's for everyone, regardless of the size or the level of maturity of the business. Now, speaking of attention scarcity, let's summarize. What you should take from this session. Here are 3 main takeaways. First, the way we consume content has fundamentally changed. Second, authenticity and creativity gets your consumers' attention and wins their heart. And lastly, everyone can tap in, whether you're a small startup or a large-scale established company or a brand. You can become a part of the cultural conversation on TikTok and to actually drive real impact for your business. So I invite all of you to join us and be a part of this revolution. Thank you very much.